with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning out there to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad to see you here on this Saturday morning. You can give us a call, 256-234-6221 if you're not out of bed yet. If you're out there riding around listening to us on the radio or watching us on Facebook Live, I want to welcome you in. Randy, good to see you on a Saturday morning. A lot to discuss here on the show this morning. Don't know a lot about what happened last night, but, you know, we're getting down to the end of the basketball season, about to hit into postseason. But last night, game between Hueytown and Leeds. Don't think anybody was hurt, anybody was hit, but there was some gunshots fired. It made national news. If you go to Twitter, it's been put out there by a lot of outlets. There's some video that looks like the Pixel camera video. There's a lot of people running around in the gym, shots fired. So don't know what they'll find out about that. You can see the Leeds players trying to run out of the gym, I guess, to get to the bus. So unfortunate, man.
Well, it's unfortunate, and, you know, my wife and I were talking about it last night, going to bed on this, is like, what do you do? You know, how do you administer that? How many cops can you have in an area to make sure that one fool doesn't do something that's crazy? You know, I thought back last night to all the incidences that we had at the high school football stadiums around the country, but we had them here in this state this past year, and your thoughts are, if one rogue person wants to bring a gun in and go to doing something crazy, you know, how do you administer that? I mean, are you supposed to, you know, put a barrier up for everyone that's entering and have, you know, have you check through their pockets, through their purses and everything? And it does become that at times, Brett, but, you know, you as one that's been in education your whole life, I watched something like that, and I'm thinking to myself, how do we fix that? And my answer, unfortunately, is I don't know how you fix overall ignorance in society.
You know, a lot of times, you know, even if you got devices at doors for people to walk in and check and all, there's so many different ways people can get in a building. And if somebody's really got it in their mind, and I'm not saying whoever this was that shot this gun or whatever had some type of intentions to go to that facility that night and shoot somebody, but, you know, namely, why are you toting a pistol in there? And as far as
because you want to,
well, and you got some type of a mindset of something, or you're anticipating something might go down. But nevertheless, like you said, it's almost impossible to stop somebody that's already made their mind up.
You and I, we called the finals, the Final Four, girls and boys in Birmingham a couple of years ago. They had the situation go on after, I think, the 6A state championship.
Now, it wasn't after. It was during the game was going on, and all hell broke loose. And
didn't we have one incident, though, that was after, too? May have had a couple within a 2 or 3 year period.
Right. Well, I remember we were calling the game, and people were starting to scramble, and they thought there was, you know, somebody with an active shooter in Legacy Arena running around or whatever. And, you know, we're sitting down there calling the game, and the game's still going on, and you could start to hear people, you know, in the crowd and people starting to get up. And, it's scary, man.
But my point is, we've seen over the years, there's very few places that I go and I call and I broadcast that I feel any more comfortable than I do there.
Of course.
I mean, every corner.
Well, you got cops everywhere there.
And you can't walk down Media Road. You can't just decide, I'm about to walk down Media Road. No, they got 3 or 4 people that are going to keep you from doing that. And so my point is that even a place like that where you've got great security presence and cops everywhere, you still have issues going on. So I don't – Unfortunately, I don't know that there is a perfect answer for this. I mean, I hate to see it, and it scares people, and it makes people not want to go out in public events like that with worries that things like this may happen. But I wish I had an answer, and I don't.
I don't think anybody does. If you did, we wouldn't see the things that we see, with school shootings or whatever. You can put as many protectionary agents in place that you can, and then you hope everything is okay. But fortunately, it seems like nobody was injured
great.
last night. So hopefully they'll get to the bottom of it and figure out what's going on. Like we said, basketball here in the state of Alabama, getting into area tournament plays coming up. I think there'll be maybe a couple of games left for teams to play before they get into the area tournament. Then you'll be in sub-regional, then regional, then everybody put it on your calendar. February the 26th or 24th, I believe, the finals in Birmingham, Legacy Arena, like you and I were just talking about. We'll go through March the 2nd. It's going to be another fun year. We have the potential to see some new teams in this thing, and we get excited about the opportunity. Of course, we enjoy whoever makes it, and it's fun to see some of these teams that make it every year because, man, you know what you're going to get when you see them. But, we didn't see a Buckhorn last year. Maybe we see a Buckhorn this year. They're number one in the state.
Did see a Buckhorn. Buckhorn won the state championship.
There was another team that didn't make it that was really highly ranked. It wasn't Buckhorn. It was can't remember which one it was. Anyway, we kind of look forward to some of that because it was Baker. Baker didn't make it.
That's exactly
so
what it was.
Baker didn't make it because we were looking forward to seeing Darius Phylon, who's not even at Baker anymore now. But, and again, we want to see good players, want to see good teams, but some of those teams just figure out ways to get back both on the girls and the boys' side. So looking forward to that. Buckhorn, really, really, really good. But we'll see maybe a Huntsville team that has seen tremendous success this year. Only have that one loss out of state. Really good team. But you don't ever know, Randy, because you get in area play. I think we had a team up in the Birmingham area a few years ago that had dominated
Homewood
and got in. Yeah, it was Homewood and got into the area tournament.
Lost in sub-regional.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they lost the
off.
opening game of sub-regional. They were 28-1 on the season. I had a great post player and a great guard. They had like a two-headed monster that was – and Homewood's always got pieces with it. But they had two of the best players in the state on the same team, 28-1, and they lose out in the first sub-regional game, which is
tough. That's at home.
Is really a 1 versus a 4 matchup, isn't it?
Depending on how many teams you got in your region. It's the runner-up of it's the runner-up of that.
So it's a 1 and 2.
It's a 1 and 2
because of an area setup.
Correct.
It's really not. Right. It's not the regional matchups that we have in football.
Right,
it's more of a 4-team area. But nonetheless, I mean, it was one where you look and you
You're
saw.
at home. It's basically a home game against a team that
you probably should win.
Yeah, right. Well, we saw that here. I mean, not to pour salt in the wound, but last year here at Benjamin Russell, coming off the year before and making that run and getting close to getting out of regionals. We returned a really, really good team and had Pelham come in here. And, we'd kind of been on cruise control there for a few games. And Pelham came in, had one kid really just play his rear end off. And we were off shooting that night. And that's basketball, man.
Yep.
You can have a 28-1 record and have a flat night. And in postseason, your season's over. So say all that to say this, that whoever makes it to Legacy Arena, it's a really good environment. It's great basketball. If you've never been to the finals and you just love high school sports, you love sports in general, you need to come up and watch that tournament. You don't have to come every day, but if you can come a day or maybe two, it's worth it, man. And we see teams bring their kids up there to watch the games, and we hear about that all the time. So we encourage people to come out there.
Well, I think that you see differing versions of basketball throughout the state. You see which communities embrace the sport of basketball over others. Each of our communities out there in a lot of aspects have a sport or a couple of sports that we really embrace. Right. Now, there's some Huntsvilles, there's some Hoovers of the world that are really good top to bottom. Right now. But for the most part, we all have these sports that we really love and we expect to go out there and win. And I've told people for the last 20 years since we've been doing this, not quite 20 years, but closing in on 20 years that we've been doing this, I had no idea I love basketball over any other sport. You know that. But I had no earthly idea girls basketball in North Alabama was as good as it was.
Right.
No idea. I had no idea that you could go and watch Lauderdale County play girls basketball, and they won 20-some-odd state championships, and they're unbelievable again this year. And they roll a bunch of girls out, and you're like, are you telling me that squad right there that just got off the bus is about to obliterate us? Yep. I'm telling you what, watch those two little twins right there. They're about to score 45 points between the two of them. They're going to beat you by 30. And it is Cold Springs. That was a school when we first started. I said, Brett, what is this? Because, you know, I'm down here in the central part of the state where, let's just be brutally honest, you don't see squads like that.
No.
From a demographic standpoint,
it's a different mindset.
It's different, and you would see Cold Springs get off. But I said we're about to see them lose by. They got to lose by 60, and then they get out there and they just beat people's brains in. And it's so much fun to see the way that when communities embrace certain things that you can get success even when it's not expected.
Coaching too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, seeing some of these coaches that lead these programs, and you see why, you know, these teams play and have the results year in and year out. I know we talk a lot about Thompson in wrestling, and, you know, you talked about embracing a sport. That's what that community did. They got somebody in there that really built something from scratch, because Thompson wrestling came out of the ground. I mean,
well, absolutely. And then, you know, here's another one in high school basketball here in the state. Did you know Eufaula had as good a basketball program as they had?
Not until the last few years.
And when you go and you look, because when you do what you and I do, we can't just go up there and just start talking. I mean, you've got to give some color behind what's going on. Go look at Eufaula's basketball program.
It's
under their head.
Right.
For the last 25 years, they go 25-4. 26-3. You know, a down year over there at Eufaula is a 22-7 year.
Oh yeah.
Every single year they're winning 22 to 30 basketball games a year. The numbers are through the roof. They're making it to Final Fours, or they're losing out right before they get to Final Four. I'm close enough to Eufaula that I should know that. But I didn't know that.
Right.
I had no idea.
Not until we started digging and started doing some research.
Go look historically at what that program has been, and you know, and that's also I think that it's more than a single coach, but they've had a coach, a leader in place for a long, long time, and he has put together a product that's as good as any out there.
Yeah, it's fun to see. You know, they kind of hang their hats on a particular sport.
Yeah.
We can go through it in football, basketball, baseball, softball. You know, we've done some documentaries on Pisgah and their success, and it's fun to see these little nooks and crannies in the state of Alabama and in any of these states in the country. If you did the research in those states too, you'd find out, man, you know, that little community's produced a lot of whatever. And yeah, up north it's different. North Alabama, especially in girls basketball, is on a different. It's in a different stratosphere, and how they approach it.
Gunnersville, Deschler, I can keep going. Hazel Green, keep going down the list. These teams blow you out of the gym.
It's fundamentals too.
Yeah.
It's how they play the game. It's you know, they may not necessarily be the most talented. Now a lot of them have some really, really good talented girls. Don't get me wrong, but it is a system. And the way they play, and if you don't play that way, you don't play. I mean, that you adapt, and you don't learn that overnight. That's another thing too. You can't just snap your fingers and go, all right, we're going to get a bunch of girls in the 10th and 11th grade, and we're going to implement this system. We're going to go ahead and start winning a bunch of games. This is longevity. This is repetition. This is doing this over many years.
Deschler's probably the best example of that, you would say. There's Lauderdale County, there's others that are, but Jana Killen and what she's done at Deschler is the one that people want to point to, and she's been there 30-plus years, and she's won 6 or 7 or 8 state championships, and when they don't win state championships, they're like this Eufaula that I just brought up. They're winning 25 to 27 games on a down year, and you know, you get a leader, you get a coach, you get buy-in, you get players that come back that want to support that leader that they grew up with, and it can become beautiful. And that's certain parts of the state. That's what we got.
And we'll see a lot of those teams again this year. We'll talk about some rankings here in just a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about wrestling. Of course, we got a lot of college to talk about today, and you know, basketball for both Auburn and Alabama. Today we'll dive into that, a ton more when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumber yard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill, located right here in downtown Alexander City. If you're looking for great food, great times, good place to just hang out. Got a lot of great opportunities to watch games. Family environment, hang out with friends, whatever you want to do, but it's the food. Go by and check out JR Sports Bar and Grill. All of you that live around this area know what I'm talking about. If you're passing through, you need to make that a priority. Sunshine Heating and Air down in Davil, Alabama, serving basically Central Alabama for your heating and air needs. Give them a call, 256-825-4849. Our good friends down there at Sunshine Heating and Air will take care of you. The last AHSAA poll, we're not going to go through every one of these teams in girls and boys, but do want to hit some highlights, kind of prove a point what we're talking about. Hit some of these things that you said, look, man, what's wrong with that team? They've lost 4 games. Bob Jones in 7A is number 1 right now for girls. They're 22-3, 19-6 for Hoover down there at 3. Sparkman 16-7. We see those teams almost on a yearly basis.
Here's the thing about Hoover. Hoover, out of those 6 losses, I bet a majority of those were in the first 15 games. They've really started playing well. If you remember, they lost an outstanding senior class, Renaya Kelly, who was Miss Basketball in the state of Alabama maybe for the past couple of years. Didn't she go to North Carolina, and she's playing? She's point guard there, and she's a special player. And so they had to replace some girls that have been starting since 9th, 10th grade. And to start in 9th and 10th grade at Hoover High School, you got to be exceptional. So they've really got a good team. Crystal Johnson coaches them up as well as anybody here in the state. And so Hoover, if they won it again in 7A, would be no surprise.
Let's dive down to 6A. Hazel Green is 23-4. I mean, that's
Tim Miller, 11 or 12 state championships as a coach. Moved over to Hazel Green from Bob Jones, where he put together an unbelievable product there. And, there's just certain coaches that it doesn't matter if you picked him from there and you placed him over there. As long as over there cares about basketball, he'll win championships. I look down and, historically a couple of days a week we'll do Throwback Tuesdays, Throwback Thursdays on our AHSAA outlets. And here's the one thing about Tim Miller-led teams, Brett. If you look defensive stats in the state historically in the record book, all his teams are the ones that are listed as the best statistical years defensively. He's got about 6 years where his girls' teams allowed less than 40 points a game on average.
Look, so defense travels.
It does.
We say that in every sport. I mean, in every level of sports. If you play relentless defense, you're going to have a chance. If you have it, you're inevitably going to have an off night shooting in basketball. I don't care how good you are offensively. It just doesn't work out sometimes for you. But if you continue to play intense defense, if you're having an off night shooting, you have a chance to still win the game. Some highlights, other teams to highlight: Clay Chaltville 22-2. They're number 2 there. In 6A, Homewood's 21-4. We'll float down to 5A. Jasper is number 1 at 19-4.
Jasper this week, unfortunately, my brain's not popping here on a Saturday morning really early, but I want to thank all of you out there here in the state that are reaching out to us. It's happening 15 to 20 times a week now, and I hope that doubles in the next weeks to come. Look, there is a void here in this state of covering high school athletics. We know it. Newspapers aren't what they once were. We're very lucky in our community that we've got a strong newspaper. But there's a lot of communities out there that have a dying newspaper.
Or they are gone.
Dying journalism departments. There's no one out there covering these sports like they once were. So it's left up to the parents and the communities to reach out and to give it to us. And through our social media outlets, we're trying to do our best to serve that void out there here in the state. Well, one of them is in Jasper. I'm not saying they don't have a good outlet over there. I'm sure they do. But here's the point. They had a girl this week hit 9 3-pointers in a quarter.
Sure did.
She scored 27 points in a single quarter. She broke the record for the state with 9 3-pointers in a quarter. She tied it at 27 points, and her team, Jasper, hit 22 threes in a single game. All 3 of those either tied or broke state records.
Back in the day, and when I say the day, not too long ago, the Birmingham News, the largest paper here in Alabama forever, would have an entire section devoted to high school recap.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Ron Ingram.
Right. It was Ron and
many others.
That would have been a highlight. That would have been a headline. That would have been the headline you saw, and that community would have gotten some exposure, whatever. It's different ways to do it now. And, look, bragging on you and bragging on our group here with the AHSAA, we're it. I mean, I'm just telling you, if you go find somebody else out there in another corner somewhere that covers their area, that's great.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
But from an overall standpoint of covering every corner of this state and everywhere in between,
doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it does. Us.
Well, it
does exist. It's us.
It does, but here's the difference with us in comparison to what they did in the past, Brett.
We don't have runners. I know.
No, man. We aren't journalists.
Well,
we are dependent. The reason that I'm saying this on air now, we are depending we're dependent on you out there as communities and parents and families to pass that along to us. Because if you don't pass that along to us, I don't know that Jasper has a girl hit 9 3-pointers the other night until it's passed to us. So, yes, you're right to a certain extent, but we need everyone out there and probably need to get a little bit more of a groundswell effort to reach out to other parts of the state and make sure that we're hitting on them as much as possible.
Tony said also shout out to Stanhope girls basketball head coach Kevin Stokes on his 300th career win as a head coach. Again, dropping information like that to us, nobody probably knew he won 300 games outside of their school.
Well,
I mean,
you and I have watched Benjamin Russell be in Stanhope's area over the last 10 years a few times, and they have beaten our brains in a few times in those last 10 years, if you remember. They've put together some really good girls basketball teams, so I'm not surprised to hear that he's up to 300.
Yeah, absolutely. Down in Class 4A, Prattville Christian's 19-5, Hanley's 20-6, UMS Wright's 20-6, Anniston's 22-4. Some really good basketball there in 4A. Now, this is girls again. We want to we'll get the boys here after the break. Class 3A, Lauderdale County continues to do what they do year in and year out. They're 21-0. Plainview's 23-4. St. James 21-4. Susan Moore, we've seen a bunch of times up there in Birmingham. They're 18-4. Trinity as well, 17-5. Some really, really good teams there in Class 3A. But, man, it's always Lauderdale County. Everybody's shooting for them.
Well, and they jump. They're like Fife. They jump from 2A to 3A to back to 3A. And, it doesn't matter which classification they're in. They're putting a quality product out there. Community cares about it. Kids grow up knowing. Kids grow up hearing of, girls that have won state championships and how great they were. And then those girls, we'll see over there on the bench in the finals, the same girls that won it 6 or 8 years ago will be the ones over there assistant coach to the coach. So it's community built.
Down in 2A, Mars Hill Bible at 12-5 is number 1, and Cold Springs is 2, 21-3. Cold Springs, again, another one of those teams like Lauderdale County that we see frequently in Birmingham. In this area, Lynette's 15-4. I got a good basketball team again, not shocked by that. Horseshoe Bend deserves a shout out here locally. They come in at number 12 at 16-4 there in 2A. So, things get rolling for them in postseason. They can make a run there. They've got a really, really good team.
Yeah, they've got one of the best athletes in the state in Reagan Taylor, and they've got a team that seems to win. Horseshoe Bend's, their girls' program's very good top to bottom. Has been almost my entire life. I mean, am I wrong by saying that? I mean, they've always been really good in basketball.
Softball.
Very good in softball. They seem to always just put a really good product out there in every sport. Volleyball, they're really good. So Horseshoe Bend does a really good job. And when they can get a run of talent like the Taylor girl that they have right now, they can usually
having a Reagan Taylor obviously helps you a lot.
They get them more than most.
They do
in these areas.
Here's another one of these teams, Spring Garden, 24-1. So we've listed Cold Springs, Spring Garden, Lauderdale County, all of those teams. We see them quite frequently in Birmingham. It's almost a shock if you get there and you don't see them. But
Spring Garden won volleyball. Ricky Austin's their coach. His daughter Ace is an Alabama commit. She's one of the best basketball players in the state, averaging over 30 points a game. I think she's got over 3,000 points in her career. She's special, and when you got a father-daughter combo like that, we see that a lot too, Brett, don't we? I mean, we see it in boys' side too, but it's fun to see it on the girls' side. When you've got you take Handley a few years ago when you had the Strain girls come through with their dad coaching them, and both of those girls, I think, are 2 of the top 3 scorers in state history, and Leah and Courtney Strain.
Right.
And but you can get that kind of. Courtney's 1, but Leah I think's 3.
But Bell Hill's going to beat all of them.
She got a chance to.
Mars Hill. If she doesn't get injured.
5,700 points for Courtney Strain.
Right, 5,700. And Bell Hill's on because she started so young, she's on pace to beat that, which is amazing. But I'd like to see this. Of course, it's not going to happen. But in girls basketball, could you imagine a tournament with Mars Hill, Cold Springs, Lauderdale County, Plainview, Spring Garden? Could you imagine just seeing all of them in a tournament together and seeing who comes out the winner on that one?
Be fun.
It'd be a fun deal. So, all right, we're going to take a break. We come back, we'll run down the boys. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed, and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika has a massive inventory of quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Every make, every model. Quality pre-owned vehicles are available at Opelika Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep Ram. Located at 801 Columbus Parkway in Opelika and online at OpelikaFordChrysler.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We'll go to the phone lines. Welcoming our good friend Luke Robinson. Just went around the other side of the moon. Just picked up transmission again. Luke, good to hear from you this morning.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's good, man. It's good. Be safe out there. No, it's nasty. Going to be a nasty weather day across the state. Once again, we have to bring you in after Alabama beats us, beats our Auburn Tigers once again. So, you know, at some point in time, the shoe I'm hoping flips to the other foot. But right now, doesn't seem like we can beat y'all in anything.
Well, I mean, let's not say it's nothing. I mean, Auburn did beat Alabama in women's basketball, last Sunday?
Yeah, we did.
And, I mean, that counts. I mean, that's, that becomes – we can't sit here and say that, we don't care about women's sports at all. I mean, we call women's basketball all the time, and it's actually a lot of fun for the AHSAA. So, I mean, frankly, I'm not going to say I pay as much attention to the Alabama women's basketball team, but when they play, I definitely want them to win. So there is a thing. But, I think the overarching sentiment out of the game last Wednesday is more about both programs than it is about one program. I think they have become the two best programs in the SEC. And, I mean, if you want to throw Tennessee in there, go ahead. But, frankly, I think Alabama and Auburn have accomplished more than Tennessee. They've certainly accomplished more than somebody like an Arkansas or LSU or other teams that are considered to be better programs in general. So, I think the bigger, broader scope of it all is that these two programs have gotten so good. And, I understand it's a little bit difficult for Auburn fans on that front because, Nate Oates is, just the facts, Nate Oates is 6-3 against Bruce Pearl. Now, he'll probably be 6-4 after this game at Neville Arena in a couple of weeks. I'll certainly understand that. And Bruce Pearl has certainly accomplished a lot. But I think that Nate Oates has not only made it where the two programs are even, he may have moved past him a little bit in terms of accomplishments over this period of time. But in the end, to me, it's more about just how much fun it is to have these two being so good at the same time, which is very rare.
Well, Luke, I want to brag on Alabama defensively the other night, especially at the guard position. Really extended pressure on Auburn, and we didn't seem to handle it all that well. And, that's the thing I'm impressed with Nate Oates. People expect you at this point in time to have a great offensive team and to score in the 90s and to shoot threes, and if you're making them, you can beat anybody. But I thought Alabama won that game the other night with their defensive pressure.
And that's been the problem. Alabama's been one of the worst defensive teams in the conference, if not one of the worst defensive teams in the country at some times. They've had to find their way defensively. I mean, they expected Charles Bediako to be on this team, and he's not. And he would have made up for a lot of problems if he had come back like he should have. I mean, because, frankly, he's been cut from the San Antonio Spurs now. I'm not even sure where he is, so obviously another year of college would have done him well. But Brent Nelson is sort of becoming a story again. At the beginning of the season, everybody loved him because his offensive prowess was so great. But then you get into the meat of the schedule and you get into the grinder that is the SEC schedule. Everybody's tougher. Everybody's stronger. He's already gone up against the three most physical teams in the conference, if you ask me, in Mississippi State, Auburn, and Tennessee. They're probably the three most physically imposing. I know you guys yesterday on one of the shows was talking about how small Auburn's guards are, and some of them are. I mean, Aiden Holloway doesn't – he's a fantastic player, but he doesn't fit the mold of like a super strong SEC kind of guard. But K.D. Johnson's a pretty big guard, and he'll get after you. And Janai Broome is very physical, and Dylan Cardwell's been there since since Johnny Heisman was coaching in Auburn. So, these guys know about playing physically. And Grant Nelson, I think he really came of age against Mississippi State where he had to guard Tolu Smith, who is a big, powerful man. And he held his own. He didn't stop him, but he held his own, and that's all you can ask. And I think as that confidence creeps up, his offensive confidence will also creep up in turn. Because I think what happened was his offense was really good and his defense was so bad we couldn't keep him on the court. And we got to make it where there's a nice balance there. And at the end of the game against Auburn, his offense is what really helped Alabama over the top.
I look at it on another aspect. Yeah, the defense for Alabama was tremendous, but I looked at Auburn shooting from outside, and they missed quite a bit of open shots. And Bruce Pearl made – mentioned that, especially on the road. You lose by 4, but you went 5 of 25 from outside. And inside, Janai Broome was 11 for 17, had 25 points. He probably could have had 35 if Auburn would have changed their philosophy. Again, I said this on the Auburn Blitz. I'm not pointing a finger at Bruce Pearl, but at some point in a game, you got to change what you're doing if what's going on previously had not been working. So he admitted that. He also admitted that maybe he should have taken Aiden Holloway out a little bit sooner and given Trey Donaldson a couple more rotations. But that's in the rearview mirror now. You look forward. Alabama now at the top with Auburn tied in first. And like you said, Luke, it's no coincidence that year after year we look at these standings and Auburn and Alabama are at the top. And you got Tennessee and Kentucky down there. To me, Kentucky is the lost team here. And I asked some people this question earlier in the week. I want your opinion, Luke. Has John Calipari underachieved at Kentucky?
I don't think there's any question. I mean, relative to his pay, relative to his talent, only have one championship. People equated him for so long to Nick Saban. I mean, I think there's a giant canyon between the two. I mean, this guy has put out some NBA stars like nobody else. And he's got one championship, and it was a long time ago, 2012, I believe. I mean, that's a long time for Kentucky to go between championships when they're not under NCAA investigation or, wallowing in the terribleness of some coach they shouldn't have. They have had he is a very good coach, and he's a masterful recruiter. But when I watch Kentucky play, they don't play with the same fire that an Auburn plays, that an Alabama plays for the most part. Now, Alabama and Auburn can both take some time off. I mean, just like any team. But I'm talking about on a game-to-game basis. I just don't see Kentucky playing with a fire in the belly that I think they need to play if they want to win a championship. And that's why, Philip Marshall, it's funny, wrote an article yesterday or 2 days ago for an Auburn site, and he's always lamenting the fact that all these other programs like Kentucky, they get all this love, or Alabama and Ohio State in football, they get this love because they're considered blue bloods or whatever, but they earn that. And Kentucky earned that. They earned the right to always be judged by everybody because they've been one of the standard bearers. But that's the other thing is when they're not playing well, people still look at them and go, I look out on the court and go, they can still win a championship. They got the talent. It's just got to turn around. Alabama and Auburn aren't going to have that luxury because for 100-something years, we haven't been the team that everybody set their sights on. Now in football, Alabama has been, so they've earned that right. And I have no problem with Kentucky continuing to get all the TV press and all the love, just like I have no problem with the Dallas Cowboys getting it in football or the Lakers getting it. The Lakers are terrible this year, but people still talk about them all the time because they have set the standard. Anyway, but going back to your point, I think that Kentucky is kind of hard to watch. And, yeah, I mean, if you want to give that old proverbial saying, hey, if they ever flip the switch, they'll be tough to beat. Of course they will. But, I mean, why at this point do I think they're going to flip the switch? That's my problem.
Luke, close us out on football talk. DeBoer, how's he doing? Alabama fan base, embracing him, his coaching staff. Give us a little rundown on football.
Well, I was very fortunate yesterday. I got to go with my wife and daughter to tour Alabama. And, look, I've been to Alabama a lot since I graduated, but mainly for sports events or maybe to see Nick Saban speak or something like that. I rarely go for anything else, anything academic. I was absolutely blown away at how organized, how incredible, how the campus has just changed from so much from when I was there. I mean, we got to meet with one of the deans. We got to see all these the Crimsonettes, the people that sort of take you around and show you the campus. It's so it's a well-oiled team. And I thought to myself, this is the first time I've thought in so long, like, hey, we're a lot better than just a football program. But I think part of that is in part to Nick Saban. I think he helped make that the way it is. And so while I was so worried at first that Kalen DeBoer is stepping into these shoes and they're the biggest shoes ever to fill, man, he's walking into something that is laid out pretty nicely. And he has hit the ground running by getting a commitment from Ryan Williams, who, I mean, I think you guys would agree with me, is one of the best we've ever seen calling all these high school games we call. I mean, he's just a phenom. And then he got a commitment from Noah Carter, who was one of the best players in Arizona this year. He went to those All-American games and shot up the charts. Now, granted, he was Ryan Williams at one time was already committed to Alabama, and he's an Alabama fan. And Noah Carter was committed to Washington, so he knows Kalen DeBoer, so he had a leg up. But at the same time, he had to convince Noah Carter to come several thousand miles from Arizona to Alabama, and he had to convince Ryan Williams that, hey, I'm going to help you get to the next level. So I think he's done an amazing job. I'm really, really happy with him so far. But in the end, he's going to be judged on wins and losses just like everybody else.
Luke, it's good stuff, man. I do want to close out before you go, going back to basketball for a second. Never thought that a women's game, we've talked the majority of this program, first couple of segments, we talked about high school girls basketball, how good it is, and then we talked about, Auburn and Alabama playing the other night and how well the women's programs are doing. The highest rated game on Thursday night, did either of y'all know which one that was? It was LSU South Carolina, and it blew away the NBA game. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. It blew away the NBA ratings. I mean, you can say what you want to.
Follow a winner, buddy.
The what?
They follow a winner. We all follow.
Anybody
winners.
follows a winner, but I do think saw where Clay Travis said this isn't the first time the NBA's taken a back seat to some other events. But let's just call it like it is. That's a milestone right there for a girls' college basketball game to beat an NBA on an NBA night. Luke, you and I know that probably more than anybody in our group. We follow NBA probably more. The NBA just isn't what it was.
No, I agree. I think it's a problem for the NBA. Now, I agree with what you're saying 100%. At the same time, I want to say this, that last night we watched for no reason. There was really nothing else on, and we were playing Monopoly. Just the family and I, so we cut on TV, and I found that Atlanta Hawks game, and Luka Doncic just happened to go for 73.
73.
It was pretty incredible to watch, and my first thought was, this is a shame that we're probably the only people watching this. And I just thought it was funny because it really was, you were seeing the best in the world doing something. And the problem is, I think the NBA has gotten to be where this, it feels like the regular season doesn't matter. It feels like the players don't care as much. It feels that way. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying for some people it feels that way. And so it's kind of hard to watch it. But last night I really did thoroughly enjoy seeing Luka Doncic. That kid's special. And I know you guys need to go to break, and I got to go coach my 7-year-old daughter. But I wanted to say one other thing. That, at the Alabama-Auburn game, after the game, of course, or even before the game, whenever it was, I know some Alabama students were chanting a word they shouldn't, along with, Auburn, saying the word Auburn. And a lot of people were losing their minds about that. And then there were some people posting some things from their trip to Auburn last year. I think Jermaine Funnyman Johnson, say what you want to about him, but he posted this, that, some Auburn fans really came after some Alabama fans after the game, even though Alabama had won. They really came after them, cussed them out pretty good, said some bad things. And, I think we all got to get off our high horse a little bit. Some kids and even some adults are going to say some things they shouldn't say, and it's pretty bad sometimes. It would be nicer, though, if there was just a tad more respect on both sides, especially on the basketball side. On the football side, that may be too far gone. But on the basketball side, I think we should respect a little more what each of these programs have done because, I know Alabama probably started out with a bit of a head start. They do have a nice basketball history, but it's nothing like it's been. And Nate Oates has taken this team to new heights. Bruce Pearl has certainly taken Auburn to new heights. And I'm not asking everybody to just all get along. I'm saying we could all work in a little more respect for one another, I think, on that regard.
No doubt about it. But if I'm Jermaine Funnyman Johnson, I'm probably going to sit that one out. I don't think I'm going to make a comment. So.
I hear what you're saying.
And it doesn't have anything to do with Auburn. I'm just saying he's had plenty in his past. I'd probably just be quiet. So, but anyway, Luke, hey, man, go have fun coaching.
Hey, Brett, that's me trying to end on a positive note, Brett.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I love the love, Luke. I feel it through the phone. Hey, have a good weekend, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Last time I felt love through the phone, I had to pay 95 cents.
Can we just get off? Let's just get off this call. I'll talk to you later, man. Appreciate it so much. That's Luke Robinson. Fun stuff. John Dent said NBA with about 4 thumbs down. It's just not what it used to be, man.
I don't watch it. I don't have time. My son asked me if I know this cat here or this one there because he keeps up with it. He knows everybody. He could name the starting lineup for every NBA team right now and what position they play. I don't know. Maybe I was like that at that age, and maybe you were too. But he's wild. I said, no. I mean, I'm raising you. I don't have time to sit there and watch any of them, and so I don't find it. But I do find college basketball games, and I'm not surprised to hear that girls' game.
That girls' game
far exceeded the NBA.
I mean, it's 2 of the best programs in the country. I mean, South Carolina remains undefeated. They won by 6 points. They won 76-70, but they had to score 25 points in the fourth quarter and come from behind to win that game by 6. So LSU had them on the ropes, and 2 of the best coaches, and Dawn Staley and Mulkey. They are big personalities. People want to watch it.
Yep.
It's fun. They have great players. Angel Reese is a draw. Obviously at Iowa, Caitlin Clark's a draw. They got upset this past week by Ohio State. So, hey, those type of players are drawing attention, and those kind of coaches are drawing attention to that sport, and it's kudos to them. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We were in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple minutes left here on the first hour of the show. We'll be with you for another hour. I'm not going to get into politics and all that kind of stuff, but you're talking about what we're doing for the AHSAA and high school sports and covering. You know, I think, too, the media outlets have changed. But, you know, Randy, from a national media standpoint, we both can agree that it's so manipulated to show what they want to show to push agendas. We don't get news anymore. There is no news. There is no reporting. And somebody out there may argue with me on that. But a lot of stuff gets thrown in, it falls through the cracks because these agencies, these bigger media companies are bought out by certain groups, and they're almost instructed to do things the way they are told to do it.
Well, you just showed me a video during the break is the reason that you bring that up, and I had no idea. But, you know, two
without
students
social media
shot right outside the school door at a Chicago high school yesterday.
Why is that not all over the press?
It's very odd what does get reported and what doesn't. You would feel like a school shooting with 2 dead at the doorway of the school with video cameras all over showing both of them that would be national news.
I heard a comparison the other day. Somebody was talking about some of these bigger cities and how many people get murdered in these cities. And they said if you added all that up, if you put that on, they said if a plane crashed with that many people on it, it would be massive news because the plane went down.
Yeah.
They said that happens every day in these cities. The equivalency of a plane crashing is happening all the time, and you get zero coverage, man. And it's just like, it just pushed down to the side. It's almost like you're trying to hide reality.
Well, it gives you more. It gives you a little bit more motivation to report on positive stories about our kids than all of this that is out there. We started
this program this morning about somebody shooting at Hueytown last night in a game. The game was over, but Hueytown and Leeds playing each other, and you see all these kids having to run out of the gym to get on the bus. I mean, these two kids in Chicago just coming out of school. And, I mean, I don't know if they were targeted, but most of the time these kids aren't targeted. It's just random shooting, just somebody shooting up a sidewalk. It's sad, man. But you know what? You're not ever going to try to get to the bottom and fix anything if you fail to report it. The media coverage in this country is terrible. I mean, it really is. I hate to say it that way, but it's the honest truth. The way I feel about it, I don't know how you feel.
I don't think it's going to get any better. I think you and I can sit up here and talk nonstop about it. I think that it's 50-50 split here in this country. The gap in the middle is widening. No one's really coming and seeing the other side of the story, and it's a sad state of affairs. It definitely is.
Yeah, and again, didn't want to tie into that, but again, that's I guess a transition from what we were talking about in the lack of coverage and just what you don't have out there anymore. So we want to, on the high school side, continue to build our outlet. We've seen our followers grow. Please go out to AHSAA Radio Network and follow us. We depend on you to send us the information. We depend on you to get that out. If you want some promotion from your school, we will gladly push it out for you. And we've been doing that, and we've had a massive increase in people taking advantage of that. But there's schools out there right now we know that don't get any coverage. And we've had people tell us that, Randy. We've had people in communities say, man, thank y'all for what you do because we don't get any coverage anymore. And now that y'all are pushing this out there, people are finding out about us.
Well, there's a couple of different deals that make it extremely hard. I was having this conversation with an athletic director that you and I know the other day, and I'll have certain schools reach out and say, when are you going to report on so-and-so? I'm like, okay, well, Google y'all up. See if you can find some photos, see if you can find some stats, see if you can find some superlatives, see if there's anything out there on your school. And if the answer is no, then it's exceptionally hard for me sitting here in Central Alabama to be able to report.
It's almost incomprehensible.
So my point in today's world, with the lack of media and the lack of newspapers and journalists out there to cover these things, it also, if you aren't making an effort as a school and an administration to get stats out, storylines out, kids recognized for all state teams and things like, it ain't gonna happen, Brett, because I can't go and find newspaper articles. Those are few and far.
There's no archives. You know, again, this is another deal. You know, if you wanted to go back and research somebody, you know, people can say what they want to about the old antiquated newspaper, but, you know, you could go back and search, and you had these files, you had things documented. You could go back and pull different things and find out about, you know, who did this back when. Who's storing all this stuff?
What's on social if it's reported?
Well, it is.
If it's reported. The problem
that's what I'm saying.
The problem now is if you don't submit information, it's gone.
It's erased from time. I mean, everybody talked about it when we were making the transition. You and I have been fortunate enough to be in the business world and in education world when you literally transited from back when we were in high school, a daggum typewriter, okay? Now, I know that probably ages everybody. But I'm serious, from a typewriter up to where we are now. And everybody said, well, always keep a hard copy, keep a backup, because what would happen if we saw computers crash, whatever, and people have all this data and information on there, and the daggum thing would crash, and it's like, well, ain't nothing I can do about it. You lost all of it. So you're right.
It's the beauty of social media.
It is. You know, social media has
its negatives, but you know, the positives, whenever it's positive stories like that, far outweigh it. I mean, now,
you know, the thing,
like, there's no issue with me and you for the last 15 years going and finding photos.
Oh, no.
Or videos.
It's made some
archived.
things tremendously easy.
Oh, so now, you know, like if I were to go and say, do you have any photos? Do you have any video from when we started the programs or when we first started airing? No. But if I were to say, I wonder if you've got a Benjamin Russell game from 10 years ago when we had this run. They're all on YouTube.
They're all there.
Everything you have. So it's made a lot of things a lot easier. But my point is, if no one is reporting and no one is getting those numbers out there for your school, then maybe you take up the mantle to do that. And you're going to be the one to make sure that your kids are recognized like they should. And we're telling you that the best way that we know to do that's to get the information to us, and we'll make sure. There's nothing that gets sent to me that I don't post.
Exactly.
I don't care if I look at it and go,
hey, we'll even take
there's not much to that story. If they send it to me, I'm putting it out.
You know,
I'm going to put it out.
You know, if people think you get offended when people send something to you and they say, hey, well, that was wrong, I don't, because that means somebody's looking at it. You know, it means that, hey, there's actually eyeballs out there, and people actually give a rip. You know, because people have said, hey, you know, that's not the right picture, or that girl name misspelled, whatever. That's fine. You know, we want to do it correctly. Obviously, we're not doing it to just throw something out there. We want it to be accurate from that standpoint. But we appreciate everybody sending it. That's where this whole conversation went right here. And again, we want you to continue. And look, I'm not going to make a sales pitch right now, but I am. You know, and I kid a lot. We don't work for free. Sometimes it feels like it a lot, but if you want to support this cause, we'd love to have you be part of our team from a partner standpoint, from a sponsorship. That's going to help build this and continue to push that out there. So if you know of a business that likes and loves high school athletics and wants to support and wants to be a part of it, I know there's a lot of times there's people out there, Randy, that want to be part of things. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to. Hey, like, look, I'd love to be part of that, but I don't know how to do it. Well, I'm giving you an opportunity here. If you want to support high school athletics, give me a call. Call us.
Look, we've had 3 or 4 new sponsors
here
recently on board in the last month that I didn't know of them, and I didn't know their story. I didn't know their brand, but they see posts that are being made out there. They see the reach that it's getting. They see the quality of the product that's getting pushed out there, and they want to be a part of it. And so we want you to be a part of it too. Look, it's easy for us. There's a lot of things I do that I don't necessarily have a passion for. I hate to say that, but a lot of us do jobs on a consistent basis that supports our family. But I actually love this because I know personally how important it was for me growing up for someone to say something positive about my efforts. You know, my efforts growing up and yours, especially with you covering as much as you have over the years, but my efforts growing up were on a field of play. And all my time was there. And, you know, I was raised by coaches. Yeah, I had a great family too, but I was raised by coaches. I was with them more than I was my family.
Right.
And, you know, so someone saying something positive, I still remember it today. And I'm old. I'm 46 years old. I'm up here Mike Gundy in it. I'm old, but I still remember newspaper articles. I still remember all of those things. I probably still have them. My mom's probably still got them stored away somewhere. So we're losing that in this country. That's where you were going with that. But we're also losing it here locally in this state, and hopefully we can, you know, be part of the answer to that issue, and we want to be.
Yeah, we're definitely not up here taking shots. It's the way society has changed. It's the way that information is relayed now. That we're all having to adapt. Everybody's having to adapt. What we're saying is we want to make sure the gap doesn't get bigger and that information just continues to get lost. I mean, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, we call it like it is on this show. There's certain regionals this past year in basketball had one reporter there, had one person there taking a picture at a regional, at a basketball regional. I'm not going to name which one it was, but we've had it told to us. And, man, that's unbelievable, man, because if that one person wasn't there shooting those pictures and maybe doing some type of write-up, who would know other than the score? And
if we didn't have the great Ron Ingram here in this state, I don't know where we would be. I mean,
he's invaluable for his knowledge.
Oh, he's amazing.
Well, we've been saying it for years, and, you know, he's probably one of the, if not the best sports journalists that ever come through this state, and probably one of the best in the country ever. Nobody walks around and can rattle off facts and stats like that guy. He amazes all of us all the time when he does that. And I don't know how much longer Ron's going to be at the AHSAA. Hopefully many more years. But he may decide, like Nick Saban one day, he wants to go get on a boogie board and get out in the surf somewhere and go experience, life. But when you lose a guy like that, they're irreplaceable, man. It's you may bring somebody in to take their place, but man, you ain't replacing them with the same person. I don't care who you go out and find. It's just completely. And no shot at a teacher. But when you have a veteran teacher that's taught for 30 years and has that knowledge and has done it so well, and they decide to walk out, and you hire a 21-year-old person to come in there and take your place, yeah, they got to grow and learn too, but you're not replacing them with the same person. It's just the way it is. We're way past the break. We come back, we'll dive into some college basketball. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
It's truck season at Sarah Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at Sarah Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at Sarah Honda, Tony Sarah Ford, Sarah Nissan, and Sarah Chevrolet.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Man, it is pouring.
Pouring outside. I wanted to get your thoughts. It's been a lot of talk that we've had over the last 2 or 3 months on Ryan Williams.
Right.
He does make the decision to go back to his commitment to Alabama. It looks like Kalen DeBoer coming in may have helped that situation. I don't know if it rejuvenated the Alabama fan base to maybe give or want to go after him from an NIL standpoint, maybe more than they had when they had Nick Saban. Your thoughts there, Brett? You know, I'm not questioning that Alabama was playing the NIL game. I bet they were. But I wonder if they were having to play it as hard as they're going to have to play it moving forward, because there are a lot of kids, a lot of families that would give up certain amounts of money in the initial standpoint to have your kid associated with Nick Saban for the long-term benefit that could bring. And with him gone, are they going to have to play that game a little more than they did?
They are.
Yeah.
And the bottom line of this, and I think Luke agreed, and it's not a shot at Alabama. It would have been wherever Nick Saban went, that Nick Saban was the brand. It wasn't Alabama. And Alabama's got a great program. It transcends history. It's won championships throughout. But even Bear Bryant didn't see a run like what Nick Saban did because of the different. Bear Bryant did it at a different era when he could hoard players. You know, let's just be honest about it. Nick Saban went through about 3 transformations of college football in 17 years at Alabama, and he's able to stay at the top. You know, he changed the way his defense looked to a different style. The way he conducted offense, he went out and hired guys. You know, he was constantly on the cutting edge. This is not a cut on Kalen DeBoer. It's a good coach. But Kalen DeBoer is not Nick Saban. He's not going to be. He's not going to work as hard as him. He may work harder than anybody in the SEC. He may outwork Kirby Smart. He's not going to outwork Nick Saban. So he's a fall off from that. Okay? He's not going to recruit at the level of Nick Saban, period, because nobody does. Maybe Kirby Smart did at Georgia and does right now, and I think that's where he is. It's not saying that Kalen DeBoer is not going to be successful, but you're comparing somebody that to the best that's ever done it. So, yeah, from that standpoint, I think he understands. He took the job. He understands what the pressure is. But they had to have Ryan Williams in this class. I mean, I think, look, we're not all dumb. We've been told the numbers. I think the numbers have been leaked out there. Alabama paid Ryan Williams a lot of money. And I thought Ryan Williams
committed to a lot of money.
Committed to a lot of money. They will pay him a lot of money if he stays throughout. But Ryan Williams, and we had heard that all the way back into late November, early December from pretty reliable sources. I would consider like the best sources. The people were around him So they weren't just throwing some random numbers out there. But going back to Ryan Williams' decision to go to Alabama, I think he always wanted to go to Alabama. I think, he was an Alabama fan. When Nick Saban retired, he decommitted because I think he was committed to him. And he wanted to just kind of look and see what the deal was. We heard Jason Caldwell on the show yesterday. He said a lot of people thought Nick Saban retiring gave Auburn a better shot at Ryan Williams. He said, I think it was worse because that put more emphasis on Alabama having to go back out there and really get this kid that had been committed for 2 years, probably the best player in the country. When he reclassified, maybe he wasn't listed that way, but in the next year's class he was. But nevertheless, he'd go out and have to get this guy. They lost 4 receivers. And you look at what Auburn recruited coming in. So not to say that Ryan Williams still wouldn't have been the best of those, but he would have had those other guys that you're thinking about sharing the ball with and how all that's going to work out. There is no question he's going to be the guy at Alabama coming in next year. And it's like Jason Caldwell said, even he didn't even think he'd say that, a few years ago about Auburn's receiving class versus an Alabama receiving class. But it's changed. So he's got some things that he's got to overcome hurdles-wise. He's got to survive the first couple of years, Randy. Kalen DeBoer, he's got to survive the first couple of years.
This get helps. Because he commits to Alabama, I'm not going to change my stance. He's the best high school football player I've seen. And I've been broadcasting with you for 20 years, and I've been broadcasting here in this state at the highest level with the top teams for 18 years.
Right.
He changes ball games, man. When you get the football in his hands, he's not normal. This guy he's a track star that has football skills, catching ability, can play special teams. He's special. And
right.
I think that's the reason you see the ceiling set on the NIL dollars. I think he got a couple of $1 million. I think it's $2 million.
I
think it's $2 million committed. And that's before that's $2 million committed before you go out and get endorsements.
Right.
He's still got opportunity to go do what Bryce Young and Jalen Hurts and others
this is what's comical about that Florida State letter. I'll keep going back to this, and I'm going to drive this in the ground, that the NCAA would send them a letter about an NIL violation, and that Ohio State pretty much openly said they've spent $13 million on recruits. And then Florida State gets a letter about an NIL. What did you violate? I mean, it had to be so egregious. They just shut everything down. I mean, I didn't know there were any rules left out there. So, anyway, it's comical. I would have ripped the letter up. I'd have thrown it in the trash. I'd have said, I didn't even know y'all existed as an organization anymore. Is this a joke? Am I on some kind of comedy show? But anyway, John said, going back to Nick Saban, said, remember the news show speaking to the previous UA president about the financial impact revenue that came into UA as a result of hiring Nick Saban, and that hiring how impactful that was.
Well, I remember the first couple of weeks and us and having to field phone calls with $4 million. They're going to pay Nick Saban $4 million. And I even remember thinking personally back then, man, that's a lot of money to pay a college football coach. It was.
It was then.
But to think of the financial benefit the university got from that initial $4 million investment, now they paid him a lot of money by the time it all is said and done, but there's no way, just like Luke said going on that tour, there's no way to really put pen to paper on how much money he brought to the state of Alabama, how much of a benefit he was to that college, because what have they grown enrollment by? About 30% since
it's huge, and most of it's out of state.
Yeah,
I mean,
70% of their student body's out of state tuition, which is, you're in education, is that 2.5 times the cost, 2.5 times
yes,
in state?
Absolutely.
So you're paying, let's just say,
it's more than double.
More than double more in tuition than someone that was in state would have to pay to go to the university.
You're willing to come across the border and pay double, basically. What an in-state student does.
And I think it's 70% of the student
drawing that much more money. Patrick said DeAndre Green was the best high school athlete he had ever seen. Dude,
I didn't see him. I mean, Patrick probably played against him, didn't he, at Blunt?
Patrick, did he play on that team that you guys played against? I don't know. You'd have to refresh our memory on that. I will say this. Here's another thing, too, Randy, that we talked about with social media. Can you imagine social media being around when Bo Jackson and Cornelius Bennett and Derek Thomas were in high school? Would we be saying, look, it's almost to me like comparing Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle to Shohei Ohtani and all this stuff. I don't know. I mean, we know it was different eras. I mean, Ryan Williams in the social media age and us being able to watch in as much coverage, by far, in our opinion, is the best high school athlete. But, if you've seen some of these other guys out there.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Right. I'm just saying through time.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal in today's high school football. When Patrick was coming through, if you were a good physical football player, like a middle linebacker, running back, those type of players, linemen, those were massive benefits to teams because games were won, and I'm not, he played on some amazing teams that scored a lot of points. But you would win key games back then 14-10.
Sure.
10-7. They ain't had games played anymore. You got to have guys like a Jalen Waddle. You got to have, these type of skill guys that you can put them in differing Percy Harvin's, who I compare him to.
Yeah.
But you put them in different versions of offense, whether it be on special teams or giving him the ball in the backfield and finding ways to get the ball in his hand. And right now, with what I saw in high school football, you couldn't get it in his hands enough.
Right.
We called a state championship game against Mountain Brook. They couldn't get him the ball enough, so they stopped doing what they were doing completely and just snapped it to him back there at Wildcat and just said, okay, you go run right and you go run left. And Mountain Brook may have tackled him once when he ran right, and then the next time, and I'm not exact, but the next time that he ran left, it was 75 yards for a touchdown. They didn't have an athlete out there that could run with him and keep up with him. So he's the best my eyes have seen from that type of skill guy.
Sure.
I've seen a much better physical specimens in high school football, of course, at running backs and linebackers.
He's going to be a more versatile player than a true wide receiver. And again, you just named him. You line guys up like him all over the place and create mismatches and all. That's what really makes those type players so dynamic. From a standpoint of Auburn, if you look at rankings, you look at Cam Coleman and you think, well, Ryan Williams gets this. What did Cam Coleman get? He's ranked higher. He's actually, the number one receiver. It's just a different position. Cam Coleman, you know what he's going to do. He's going to line up outside, and he's going to try to create mismatches, and they're going to try to feed him the ball even when he's covered because he's dynamic enough to go up. Even when he's got double teams, he's going to be able to make plays. So those two guys are going to be successful. They're going to be successful in different ways. You just talked about Malcolm Simmons the other day. You were yesterday on the Auburn Blitz, and I think he's the version for Auburn of Ryan Williams. And you and I have seen Malcolm, so we're a little biased, but there isn't a dime's difference in their speed, their athletic ability. Malcolm may be a little bit more raw. I've never seen Ryan Williams punt, but I can tell you this. I know Malcolm Simmons can punt at 70 yards. I'm sure Ryan Williams could probably punt at 70 yards if he practiced. It's just these kind of guys are special. And I think Malcolm has gone a little under the radar, Randy, fairly or unfairly. And it's all about marking how you push somebody out there. But I'm telling everybody, Bryce Kane, Malcolm Simmons for Auburn, they're going to be pretty doggone good.
Well, I just made 2 posts in the last week spotlighting indoor track and field. And 2 of the biggest spotlights that we had in the last 2 weeks was Malcolm Simmons and Ryan Williams in track and field.
Right.
So here's the deal. Ryan Williams, he's a speedster. He's a downhill speedster. He's the top sprinter in the state.
Right.
100, 200, 60. He's an amazing athlete. Malcolm doesn't even compete in those events. He's such a great leaper.
Yeah.
He's the top leaper in the state.
Right.
So long jump, triple jump, high jump.
All.
He wins all those state championships. And if you know anything about track and field, you can't compete in 10 different events.
Yeah, you only have certain
You have to pick a certain amount of events that you can go and compete in. And Malcolm's he's a for sure state champion in 3 different jumping events.
That's right.
Whereas Ryan Williams is a for sure state champion in 3 different running events. I do think they're the imps of one another. And selfishly, I hope Ryan Williams, goes off and does amazing things, possibly win the Heisman there at Alabama. I think he's that type of player. But selfishly, I'm kind of happy for Malcolm's standpoint because I think Malcolm's got the same skill set. And I think they look alike, and I think that potentially Malcolm's ceiling's equal to Ryan Williams.
I definitely think Ryan will get more targets because of what Auburn's got right now. And again, I think it's kind of unreal to say what we're saying because Alabama's had such a good run of wide receivers and Auburn's kind of struggled there. But Auburn just signed the number 2 overall wide receiver class ever since they've been ranking recruiting. And so these 4 guys are dynamic, and they're all different.
Yeah, they are.
They're all 4 different. So you may look at Ryan Williams' numbers and go, man, he was so much better number-wise, but Malcolm's going to get his opportunities, but he's going to have to – these guys are going to have to be patient with each other. I mean, they're going to have to – and I know that's tough to say in this world now, and I don't know what next year will look like with transfer portal and all that, but I think these guys truly have a bond. They wanted to play with each other. They knew all of them were good. They could have gone somewhere and been the guy at a school, but they chose to come in here together. They bought in. So maybe that's going to work out, but I think people are going to be astonished with Cam Coleman. We've been talking about him. You know, uncannily, he's had a kind of an under-radar year. I mean, there ain't been a lot of talk. I mean, Ryan Williams has been that dynamic. He's stolen a lot of the talk.
Well, both of their 2 teams obliterated everyone they played. So their stats weren't what they have been in the past.
Right.
Ryan Williams won Mr. Football as a sophomore, as a 15-year-old. He's 16, by the way.
Right.
He's 16 right now.
And Cam Coleman is too.
Oh, they're both.
They're both 16.
But Ryan Williams had 2,500 yards of offense as a sophomore. He didn't have to have anywhere near that. I mean, Saraland was beating people's brains in.
Got a great quarterback, had 2 or 3 other guys they were able to get the ball to,
and
so he didn't have to rely on him
Phoenix City didn't have a close game.
Oh, no.
Really, did they? Until the state championship.
State championship. That was it.
Yeah.
It was blowout city every time. And every time you looked up, and then Cam Coleman in the
he beat Auburn. He had, like 7 or 8 catches for 290 yards against Auburn, but Auburn was their key opponent in the regular season. So, he got his chances.
Right.
And they beat Auburn by what, 25 points, 30 points there in the regular season?
You look at what Phoenix City's been able to do, but you look at Cam Coleman, an Under Armour All-American game. You don't really look at the game performance because you don't know how the game's going to play out. You look at they evaluate all week, and he was the number 2 guy. They ranked the top 10 players of all the All-Stars. He was number 2. If Auburn can get him the ball, if they can get him the dadgum ball, he's going to make plays. Blake said, good morning, guys. Walker White plus wide receiver group that Auburn just signed should definitely offer some positives for the future of the program. Walker White, they just listed the top 10 quarterbacks in the country coming out. He's number 5. Potential's there, man.
We hope. We need, that's the lone spot where you go, if we could get that cured, we're going to be really good offensively.
Yeah. John said Mbakwe fella is not slouchy by any means.
No.
But he's going to be a defensive back, and that's what you're saying. Defensive back at Alabama.
He can play both sides.
Well, he did, but that guy came over and for Drew Gilmer and took on the role of quarterback very unselfishly. Look, we've talked to coaches and seen some players that resisted changing position on a team because they wanted to stay in their position.
Mm-hmm.
This guy said, okay, I want to win a state championship too. I'll come be quarterback this year. And Drew told me that at the coaches meeting before the season started. I told you that. He said, look, I'm taking Jalen Mbakwe and I'm putting him at quarterback and we're going to ride. He said, I don't have a true quarterback on this team, but I think if I put Jalen at quarterback, we win the state title. Guess what happened? We won state title.
15-0.
And now Drew.
Beat Thompson in the regular season.
And now Drew's at Hoover. He's done a tremendous job at Clay Chalkville. And you're gonna watch out for Hoover. Like Hoover's been down for a couple of years. They're not going to be down anymore.
Not when
you can just write that off. So it's going to be fun to watch. I think Clay Chalkville hired a really good coach in Drew's place. I think he's a former Clay Chalkville guy. I think there's a connection there. But big shoes to fill what Drew's done over there for sure. Up against a long extended break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
New year, new adventures. Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika is ringing in 2024 with sensational deals. Upgrade your drive with the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 1500 Crew Cab. Now available with up to $11,500 off. And that's not all. You can purchase your roomy new Chevy Equinox as low as $329 a month. Visit Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika or explore these amazing deals anytime, anywhere, 24/7 on glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown. Appreciate you hanging in there with us. Had to get an extended break in there. A lot of good topics, a lot of good comments coming through. And, again, talking about some of these recruits. We were talking about Alabama's football situation with Kalen DeBoer and getting his feet on the ground. Obviously, Ryan Williams, again, I think was a must. They were going to go out and do whatever they had to do to re-solidify his commitment back to Alabama. Again, I'm excited, and I know I really honestly am taking the orange and blue glasses off. You and I had this conversation. Very concerned if Ryan Williams came to Auburn, how that it's going to be tough enough for four guys, plus a Jay Fair and some of these other guys that were coming back, going to be worked in.
I'm not worried about them.
Well, I'm just saying they're on the roster, and
they're on the roster.
But I've
seen them.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. The bottom line is there's not going to be enough to go around, and how are you going to keep everybody happy? You had Ryan Williams in there. Of course, the law of diminishing returns, it's going to be even worse. So, look, he's going to be the guy at Alabama again. Yeah, did you want him? Absolutely. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Cam Coleman, though, I am excited to see what Cam Coleman can do at the college level, man. I think he's got – and, look, we're not even talking about Perry Thompson. We ain't even mentioned his name. And, it's like he's chopped liver over there as a 5-star. And we heard Jason Caldwell talk to us about Perry Thompson. And, again, I'll go back to Malcolm and Gabe Benton. Malcolm was the benefactor of having a quarterback can make every throw on the field, and most high school programs don't have that luxury.
No, they don't.
You don't have the luxury to go. Malcolm's numbers, and I think if Malcolm were here, he'd say this. My numbers could only have been as good as what Gabe Benton could do to help me get the football, down the field, big plays, stuff like that. Now in special teams, he did that on his own, but Perry Thompson happened to have a quarterback at Foley, couldn't get him the football, and like Jason said, they split Perry Thompson way off to the side over there. He might well not even been on the field. So you think about all the missed opportunities because you look at numbers, you go, man, he must not have had a good year. Well, it has a lot to do with who's around you.
It also makes players like Ryan Williams and Malcolm that much more special because they're so versatile. You can move them in the backfield. You can do wildcats. You can do speed sweep stuff. You can find them on special teams and get the football to them. And that's the Percy Harvin X factor that those two guys bring to any team that they're on.
But Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman aren't built that way. They have to rely on somebody to get them the ball.
College-style receivers.
They are. They're college-style, pro-style receivers that they have to have somebody get them the football. And, sometimes you're at the mercy of who your high school has. But, again, that goes back to Gabe. Saw some rankings on Gabe as one of the top players in 6A football. I think he was listed overall as like number 12 or whatever. That guy, I mean, you and I have called him for 3 years. And the numbers he's put up in his career at Benjamin Russell as a quarterback is about as good as anybody we've ever seen.
We got baseball right around the corner, and hopefully he will get drafted in baseball. I think that as if his numbers end up as good as I hope that they will, and he can hit some numbers on the gun.
He can really hit too.
Yeah, then his size is going to have a lot of eyes on him. So I'm excited for him. I hope it works out.
I think Coach Brooks said he went down to Auburn and ran the fastest time at that combine, that baseball combine the other day. He's deceptively fast.
Yeah.
And Coach Brooks and I were talking about it. He said, I'm in awe. He said, I watched him have 10 triples this past year. He said, when he hits ball in the gap, he said, when he really gets it motoring, because we were talking about Gabe running the football a lot of times, he's very unselfish. He could run pretty much when he wanted to in football, but he would hang in the pocket as long as possible to try to make plays downfield. But we were all pulled for him. We're like, come on, Gabe, just run, man. Just run and get the yards that are out there. But he said that's the part that gets undersold with him that just opens eyeballs at these camps. When these guys see him run and take off, he goes, man, he can just flat get out. He said he looks like a freight train running.
Yeah, I bet he does.
When he takes off with that size and hitting the ball in the gap, really getting after it. It's hard to hit a tree. He said a lot of that's in our park, which is a smaller field. He said a lot of those were at homes. That tells you how fast he is. So again, great athletes. You don't know where guys are going to end up and how they're recruited and what sport they love the most. But we're looking forward to following all of these guys as they move forward. All right, remainder of the show, let's talk about basketball. Auburn and Alabama today in action. Alabama will host LSU. Auburn will go on the road to Mississippi State. This is an LSU team. You said it, that LSU and Georgia thought they were really equal, and it ended up being that way. Georgia squeaked out a 2-point win. At home. So LSU's pretty doggone good. I mean,
yeah, they are.
So I don't know how does Alabama respond in Coleman? They won't have the same environment that they had. And you saw Grant Nelson say that. He's like, man, I wish we had this environment every time we went on the floor. But LSU will come in there with a good basketball team. I do think Alabama's way better from that standpoint. They'll be at home, but can LSU come in and challenge them?
Yeah, they can play Alabama. I mean, the issue with Alabama is, are they willing to defend at the level that they did against Auburn the other night? Because Auburn's 5 of 25 from behind the arc, but a lot of those, and we did miss some open shots, but their defensive pressure, on-ball defense, on guard play was outstanding the other night, and we struggled with it. And so will they put that same amount of effort into the ball game? And Coach Oates has said that. You don't know if we're a team that can get up for a game and then the next game we're kind of back down again. So today will be a good test because LSU's a middle-of-the-pack SEC squad. LSU could get, to that 8 to 10 wins in SEC play if everything worked out perfectly for them. So this is a massive game for LSU too. Yeah,
LSU goes in there at 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Alabama is a big favorite in that game, 12.5 points. Auburn goes on the road to Mississippi State. Mississippi State, they're 13-6, but they've struggled in conference play. They do have a big win over Tennessee at the hump. So, again, I don't care. If you beat Tennessee, you've done something. So that just tells you that they can put it together. Auburn kind of comes in licking their wounds a little bit after losing their first SEC game. That game's this afternoon at 2:30. Auburn is a 2.5-point favorite. That game will be on SEC Network. Just cut straight to the chase. Auburn get it done on the road today.
I hope, but we're odd watching right now. We've got to hit shots with the current setup. Maybe we've been able to cure our inability at times to take advantage of inside play, but Mississippi State's built for good inside play as well. Tolu Smith and the other big guy that they have, they kind of, share time with one another, and they've got two big defensive presences inside. So not sure that we can lean on Janai Broome quite as much as we have. And say the game the other night, I think we could have gotten more out of Janai than we got the other night. So I'd say it's 50-50. I like the line right there. I do favor Auburn if I had to pick one or the other, but we're not enough better to go over there and play poorly and win on the road.
You got Josh Hubbard at guard for Mississippi State too. That's averaging almost 15 points a game. So he can get it done out there. How will we match up against him? So that's your 2 in-state games, Auburn on the road, Alabama at home today. Some other games around the SEC. Ole Miss will go to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is not very good. They've got a couple of really good players, but they're having to struggle through a lot of these games. They're 12-7. Ole Miss thumped Arkansas about like everybody else has, but that was impressive because at home returned off that 30-point thrashing from Auburn. They turned around and gave Arkansas one about 30 points. So Ole Miss is now 16-3. They go on the road and beat Texas A&M today, man. They are sitting in fine shape moving down the stretch.
And they need that win. You know, there's losable games left on their schedule if you check that out. So that's a winnable game on the road. And the thing about, say, the Auburn game at Mississippi State, that's a winnable game for Auburn. You about can't count on going to a team that's you're equal in winning. Like that Alabama game the other night, that's probably about how most of those games are going to play out. It'd be the way that I would expect it's going to play out for Alabama at Auburn.
Yep.
You know, they're not better than we are. We're probably pretty even to one another, and the even team's going to win at home. And I bet anything that Auburn wins at home against Alabama, and that's how that one. You know, the difference last year was Alabama was so good that they were able to come to Auburn and win. That was a close game, but that's how good Alabama's basketball
team. They actually beat us worse at home than they did at our place and than they did at their home.
Well, that tells you how good that team was last year.
Right. They were just they were loaded. I mean, that's the best team I think Alabama's ever had. And they were one game away from being in the Final Four. But they ran up against a veteran San Diego State team that was able to just outplay them. Really, and Alabama struggled shooting. We talk about it in basketball all the time. You can have that one night. When's it coming? Can you overcome a poor shooting game? And they did. They shot the ball poorly against San Diego State. All right, Kentucky goes to Arkansas. This Arkansas team's horrific. They're 10-9. Kentucky's going to go into Arkansas today. I feel quite certain and win that game. I don't know how this thing collapsed on Eric Musselman so fast. Nobody's crying because I don't think anybody likes the guy. But, you know, he's put a good program together the last 2 or 3 years. He's had some massive wins. He's made it to an Elite Eight. He's made it to a couple of Sweet 16s. This team is not going to make the tournament. They're terrible. And they'll be 10-10 after today. I don't know what's happened there.
I'm shocked that Kentucky played the way they did on the road at South Carolina, though. I thought Kentucky was good enough to go on the road even against good teams with the talent that they have.
May tell you more about South Carolina, though.
It may, but
South Carolina's pretty doggone good.
It tells me there's some holes in Kentucky.
Oh, they are. I mean, everybody's vulnerable on the road.
Yeah.
And South Carolina's 16-3. They're at home against Missouri. And Missouri is horrific. 8-11. Have no wins in conference play. South Carolina has to win that game, obviously, but that's ones that scare you. You know, sometimes you can be lax, and you know, Vanderbilt's another one of those teams. Between Vanderbilt and Missouri, they're both horrible. Tennessee's got to go to Vanderbilt today. Vanderbilt's only got 5 wins on the season. Georgia will take on Florida as well. So Florida favored in that game at home against a Georgia team. It's 14-5. Mike White returns to Florida, where he coached a few years ago. So we'll see how it is. That's the SEC slate today. Again, Auburn at 2:30, Alabama tonight at 7 o'clock. So you want to tune in for that. It's pouring rain. Why not, right? Watch some basketball. Up against the final break of the show. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum. Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell, and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment. Justice said Ryan was Electron better than Ryan?
I ain't never seen Electron. I mean, it's hard for me to say.
Back in the day.
Hype back in the day, you know, the hype was on that Viger team. He just happened to be the running back for that team. This is how good that Viger team was. They played without Electron in the state championship game and beat Berry, which was Hoover,
right,
40-6, because he was hurt.
Right.
He didn't get to play in the game. So that's how good that Viger team was. I think it's still the only team in state history to be crowned national champion. Is that right?
They are, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
That 88 Viger team was crowned national champion by USA Today.
Correct.
And didn't really have a close football game. I think they had 5 players move on to play in the NFL.
A lot. We did a whole thing on them when we did the posting of the top teams of all time. I made those posts maybe last summer leading up to high school football, and you know, there's a narrative out there on our page. You can go back and dig that up. But yeah, they had tremendous talent. He was by far the star on that team, and then, like you said, you know, it was this goes back to coverage of parts of the state. And I remember people up here going, you just hear the word Viger, and everybody's like, oh, God. You know, that team, you know, they must be unbelievable. You know, it was like a mystique and a something that you couldn't see or watch, but you just heard tales of. And it's like that kind of built up the lore even more. But, you know, Electron gets to Auburn, and, you know, he ends up getting hurt again, hurt his knee. But he was the guy on that team everybody talked about. And I don't know what his numbers were, but, you know, back then, you know, I remember some people getting on Facebook on that post, and they were going back and forth about, you know, if that team could beat this team and all that, and there were some guys on there saying, I'm telling you right now, unequivocally, it's the best team that's ever come through here. And they did. I mean, right now, to this point in 2024, there's never been another team ranked as highly as them, nor been crowned a national champ. So interesting stuff. Again, you know, cross-comparing generations, I don't know. But Ryan Williams right now is the most highly touted. I think between them, it was Julio Jones.
Agree.
And guess what? They all three came from where? The Mobile area.
That's true.
Yeah. That area is put out. DeAndre Green came from down there. You know, Patrick just talked about that. That area of the state pumps out more dadgum talent than anywhere else, even including Birmingham.
Jameis Winston's probably one that many would mention as one of the tops here in this state. Others that kind of come to your mind that you've seen that are in that realm?
Jamarcus Russell, guess what? He's from down there too.
Yeah.
I can just keep reeling off guys from Mobile, Baldwin County, man. I mean, that is like, those are all like pro guys. Just amazing talent there. But yeah, Jameis Winston, you said that. You know, we've seen. Hey, look, in high school, Jeremy Johnson was a stud at Carver. I mean, he was a top-ranked quarterback in the country. We watched him with our own two eyes stand on the sideline down there at Auburn High School. You know, was he a freshman or sophomore that year?
I think sophomore.
He brought them back and won a state champion. You know, Al Pogue was the coach. You know, we can jog our mind. There's been some phenomenal talent come through this state. All right, tomorrow, NFL, the Chiefs and the Ravens in the AFC championship game at 2 o'clock on CBS, and the Lions and the 49ers at 5:30 on Fox. The Lions are the story in NFL football. Never really won anything in the Super Bowl era. Now, they had some championships prior to that, and I think they'd won like 3 in a row. So they were a dominant franchise, but since the Super Bowl era rolled around, they have not been able to get to a Super Bowl. So those Lions fans are just hungry.
They are. They got a great football team, but San Francisco's been really good all season long. Going to be really hard to beat them. And, you know, I think the two best teams are playing one another in the other game, though.
I agree.
Got the two best quarterbacks for me in the league.
To me, I feel the same way.
And with those two guys going at one another, I think you're going to get what hopes to be an all-time great conference championship game.
Well, you know, Lamar Jackson's trying to answer the critics. You know, his playoff record has stunk to this point.
And he's got to beat the best of our generation at quarterback.
Right. He's been the guy that's taken the mantle from Tom Brady. Seriously. Patrick.
It's
Mahomes.
every year. I mean, he's got Andy Reid that's one of the best coaches, but, you know, is it Andy Reid or is it Patrick?
Well, I think we found out that it was Tom Brady, not Bill Belichick.
So I'm going to say that Andy Reid's a great coach, but
well, he has been in the NFL a long time, and he's been at other places, and
he's always won.
But he couldn't get to this level. When you got to have a special
like Phil
player.
Jackson with Michael Jordan.
That's
I mean,
it.
if you got the guy and you're a good coach, you can get him over the hump.
It's the combination that works for sure. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, thanks to all of you that watch and listen each and every Saturday. We'll be back with you next week for more Sports Blitz programming, so make sure you tune us in right here, wherever it is that you tuned us in. For Andy, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. Have a great weekend, everybody.
It's truck season at AHSAA Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month. At AHSAA Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at AHSAA Honda, Tony Serra Ford, Serra Nissan, and Serra Chevrolet.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Experience the new standard of comfort in 2024. Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika invites you to discover extraordinary deals. Like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali, now available with up to $11,000 off. But that's not all. Purchase the GMC Terrain SLE for as low as $359 a month. Visit Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika or explore these unbeatable offers anytime, anywhere, 24/7 on glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.